What's up, my Vina loves? It's Miss Vina D coming to you all from Vina Entertainment News. Thank you all for the love and support. If you are subscribed, thank you. If not, thank you for even clicking on this video to view the video. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Married to Medicine, part 2 of the reunion. You know, they have a 3-part going on. I don't know why, but you know, get that point, Annie. Andy and Bravo, get your money, okay? But Married to Medicine reunion part 2. You know, it was very intense the way it started. You know, of course, it did the flashback and whatever. But then there was Dr. Simone, because it ended on her. They always have to end it when it gets really juicy, right? Because they want to draw us back in. We have something to look forward to. So Dr. Simone, for those of you who don't watch the show and just like, you know what, I don't watch that show, but let me just go ahead and hear this review. She and her husband Cecil have been married for 21 years. They have 2 children. One is in college, one is on his way out of the house pretty soon, on his way to college. And they've been having some challenges in their relationship, you know, because you know no one is perfect, no relationship is perfect. But regardless of the ups and downs in their relationship, you know, they're still well respected, and they've been married for 21 years. That's a long time. But, you know, eventually with the back and forth, the arguments, the, you know, buying of the second house so the wife can be closer to work. But we all know the second house was purchased because we saw this coming, and all of that going on. One of them eventually had to pull the plug, and Dr. Simone, the wife, pulled the plug on their marriage. So when she announced it, of course, everyone is crying and emotional and all of that, and people trying to tell her what to do. Let me quickly just say this. Sometimes as friends, you know, I'm gonna use me as an example. I'm a woman of God. I love the Lord, right? Love the Lord, and I know that with God all things are possible. I know no weapon, you know, formed against me shall prosper. I know after the rain the sun will shine again. Like, I know all of these deep things to say to people, but sometimes your friends, they know that too. And yes, the reassurance and telling them words of encouragement are amazing, but sometimes they just need you to just be still and listen. They just need their friends to be present, allow them to vent, and just shut your mouth and listen. And it looks like that's, even though it's on TV and they're all there to contribute, it's a reunion show and say things. And of course, Jackie, in the privacy of, you know, whoever home, off camera, she was able to do that. But in that moment, Toya was the perfect example of Simone just wanted to say what she had to say without interruptions, without Toya trying to tell her what's right or what's wrong, because she's been married for 21 years. So for her to get to this point to file the papers mean that it was really serious. Now, I will say Toya did not, she meant well, okay? She meant well. It wasn't coming from a bad place. She just need to know sometimes when to say when. And even like Simone, she yells all the time, and we know that, but she literally had to go to another octave for Toya to get it. Like, okay, just be quiet. And a few of the ladies had to say Toya chill, almost, you know, without using those exact words, for her to just cry and calm down. It was like, baby girl, sometimes you just hold your friend hands. And that's why Jackie went and jumped in the middle. Not that Simone would do anything to Toya, but you know, Jackie had to be in the mix, child, jump in the middle, you know, to be there, because I mean, Simone is her best friend, right? They've been friends for a long time, and of course Caesar is also Jackie's friend. So, but I completely understand. The lady said her husband been emotionally unavailable for 10 years. Didn't I say that in the last few episodes I did on them? Someone just didn't get up after 21 years, get up after 21 years and file for divorce. I already knew something was going on, and I get it. Some people stay married because of the look, because it sounds good, whatever the case might be. I am here for forever. I love you all know that. But I always also come back and say, if it's not working, if it's toxic, if she's gonna end up on Snap, leave. All right, I'm here for forever, but if it's not working, leave. And it's sad, but now Simone was moving at a very fast pace, so I don't know, because if she was talking about on the reunion, which was filmed a little while ago, that the divorce would have been finalized in a week or so. Then did she put a hold on it after breaking the news to her friends? And we shall see. I mean, there you go. Simone right there already have a storyline, not storyline as in fake, storyline as in she have a story to tell next season to see, did they get a divorce? Is it finalized? Now, most of the time it's public record. Most of the time, if you know, put their name in there, you know, the internet, Google, whatever will say married from this year to that year and ended, all that stuff. And sometimes people do have, you know, the power to make sure that divorce, you know, are sealed and all of those things for the sake of their children, whatever the case might be. But we shall see. You know, now this whole situation with this friend of his, I understand, you know, Simone had the same attitude and reaction that she had when her son said he preferred, you know, white, but he was settled for a black girl, something along those lines, and she just laughed it off. Yeah, I love Contessa facial expressions. She's very quiet, but she be in deep thoughts, and her face says it all. This whole thing where, like, I mean, I hope Andy asks this question. Like, sometimes you just wish you were the one doing the interviewing, right, or the show. Like, ask him, if your wife had a best friend who's a male that she runs to with everything, and you said to your wife, if you leave, we're done, and she leave and run in the arms of another man, but she keeps saying this is her best friend, how would you feel? I really want him to ask him that question, because this is my golfing buddy. She's like a sister to me. I love her. Like, come on, man. I have best male friends. I do. Trust me. But best believe, if it was ever on that level, we all friends. You understand what I'm saying? It's not someone who, because the way how someone made it sound, it doesn't look like this is someone who comes to the house and they're all friends. It doesn't. This is his friend on the side that he's coming back and saying, this is our relationship. It doesn't look like a friend, like, for example, Jackie, where is everyone's friend, right? Like, Jackie is my friend, my husband friend. Like, we are all friends. It's like this friend is completely only a friend to Caesar. And I get it, because after probably a few arguments about her, I'm not going to come around you and your wife. But yeah, that I understand. They're saying there's nothing going on. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you are leaving your house and running to another woman to tell her about your marital issues, and then your wife says, if you walk out of this door, it's over, and you choose that friend over your wife, yeah, that's where I'm coming from. Because trust me, I have friends, you know. There's nothing wrong with having close friends and all of that. There's just boundaries and levels, and when those boundaries and levels are crossed, then you know what I'm saying. So that's just where I'm coming from. But Contessa face was like, girl, I don't believe that whole friendship thing. And so, you know, of course he's gonna come out, he's gonna have more to say, because Andy did talk to him, you know, with the guys, and he just, you know, political correct answers and whatever. But it looks like, you know, we might get some emotions and stuff like that at the part 3. So when that happens, then I will have more to say on that. But Simone was right with everything that she said. I love how, you know, she shut Toya and everybody else down. Like, you want to stay, you want to stay, you want to stay. And that is true. She said she married for love. And if she can't feel that love, I mean, I get it, the longevity and forever. But like I always say, you only get to live this life one time. And no one deserves to be unhappy in something. When that lady got that house, I knew it. There's no way you're gonna get a house and sleep without your husband for that long in a different house and pretend on camera like you come to the other house. Like, I already knew, man. But you know, I'm wishing them well. I'm wishing them well, and they're both at fault. You know, Simone have her flaws. He has, you know, his flaws, and, you know, like I said, I will have more to say on the subject when I see more emotions from his end and hear more about this friend and this story. But at the end of the day, it's still a sad situation. I mean, he did post her on his Instagram page with one of their sons. They're all on spring break together. But Simone did say that, you know, they're still friends, you know, not only for the kids, but just for them. They're still friends because they've been together for a long time and all of that. So, you know, we shall see. Now, since Jackie just slide up in there, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Jackie and Curtis. Yes, guys, I know I sound like a broken record, and you guys are probably like, let it go. But Lisa Nicole, I would keep saying her name. I don't like it that she's not there to speak and give her opinion on these things. There goes Jackie. Curtis is back upstairs. The woman who has so much to say. You know that saying? And that, you know, and that's this saying where it's like, you know, if you don't know until you experience it, right? You don't know until you experience it. And you don't know what you would do. It's so easy to say, oh, I would do this and I would do that and I would never tolerate this. But until it happens to you, until you are in it, when people say until you walk a mile in my shoes or whatever, you never know. And there goes Jackie. The man is back upstairs. They're back together. The divorce have been dismissed, whatever the case might be. Yes, they're still working on it, but there she is. And they were so critical on Lisa. It doesn't matter if the man cheat 20 times, 30 times, or one time. He still cheated. He still had a weak moment where he did not find you worthy enough to work with you or to completely get a divorce from you. He cheated anyways, you know. So when they were all on their high horse, this would have been the perfect season to just hear her opinion. But I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let Lisa Nicole go and not bring her up. I'm kidding. Who am I kidding? I might bring her up again because I'm like, whatever. But anyways, so there's not much to say there. The whole thing about Curtis coming for Eugene. Curtis, you guys already know I'm not here for him. I don't hate the guy. There's just something about him. I just like, no. But, you know, that's Jackie's husband. Kudos to her. But Curtis showed more emotions and anger coming for Eugene than he did for what he did to his wife. Honestly, his reaction was more like deep in anger and all of that towards Eugene, or you making fun of all this stuff, compared to what he felt for himself or what he did to Jackie. And he's upstairs because he knew. Then this one, oh yeah, she's gonna be mad for a little bit, but she's gonna come around. She came around. So at this point, I'm not saying the man don't respect his wife, but the man knows that he can do stuff and get away with it. So next time he would just make sure that he's not on social media. He would just make sure that he's not walking around publicly with someone. But you know, hey, I sip my mouth. Just clap for Jackie and her husband. They were able to make it work. So there's one more person that came back from over that line that is still married. So kudos to them. But Eugene explained the reason why he joked about it, and you know, he wasn't being on no high horse. You know, he have his morals and values, and I'm sure he you know, for all have sinned, and I'm sure he have his moments, but he was just expressing how he felt. And some people, the way how they deal with certain things, they might go towards food to cope. They might work out to cope, and some people might laugh or you know, go find funny movies or funny things to do to cope with something bad. And Eugene was just saying, this is how I cope with stuff. And then Curtis was saying, well, I didn't find it funny. Eugene apologized, let it go, but he kept going. I was like, bye. Anyways, you know, but I'm glad Eugene, Toya, they're doing good. Eugene is hilarious, man. When he was talking about, you know, Rick James and Contessa husband brought that up, and he was like, I'm not going to tie her up in the basement, whatever the case might be. I was dying laughing. I love how chilled, laid back, his sense of humor is just amazing. So Toya, you have a good one. The marriage seems to be doing great. As far as, you know, the marital issues wasn't, you know, as bad as the other ladies. So I'm glad that, you know what, he goes and he masturbates instead of taking his stuff and putting it in someone else. Yes, that was too graphic. I'm sorry, but it's just the real. Instead of him going out there cheating, he does his thing. You know, you get where I'm going. Let's move on. It's getting uncomfortable. And let's move on to Dr. Heavenly. You know, the whole stuff with Mariah was petty, right? But this is the thing. When someone and like I said, he who angers you controls you, right? When someone have been picking at you for so long, right? And you've said something about it, you've had your blowouts, but you know, you've tried your best to, you know, be nice and all of that, and the littlest thing can just send you overboard. And the problem is, a lot of people don't have common sense to say, you know what, it's deeper. It's deeper than this little thing this person just did. Something happened. It's a deep-rooted history there, and this was just a situation. For the people who watched it and have been watching the whole season and seasons after that and before, you already know these two situations. So for the people who are saying, oh my God, really, we're crying over a picture, she wasn't crying over a picture. It was the principle that these women feel like they can talk to her anyway. They can walk over her. They can gang up to try to kick her out of something that she brought to the table. She's the reason why some of them are getting checks right now. Yes, their storylines, don't get me wrong, their storylines and what they bring to the table as well help the show ratings. Don't get me wrong, without people, without the right cast and all of that, you have no show. So don't get me wrong, but she feel like, I brought this to the table, right? Like, I need my respect, that I'm a human being. I get it, but I also need my respect. But where Mariah was coming from is they treat her like crap and walk all over her, and then all gang up on her to get her kicked off her own ish, right? Her own stuff. So Heavenly feeling like she would never walk to Jackie room, Quad, or anyone room and play that joke. So her feeling like she can walk over to Mariah's door and do that is the level of disrespect. It's not the freaking picture. And you know, and Andy know the power that Mariah have and all of that. That's why their conversation was on a different level. And Andy checked Heavenly. Andy don't play now. He's still boss man. He will put you in check. He checked Heavenly. He said not another word. He basically told her to either apologize or be quiet. And she had no choice but to be quiet, because to be honest with you, and he put Heavenly in check for that. But that's where Mariah is coming from. She wasn't coming from crying over no picture that she can go ahead, even though it costs $400, that she can go ahead and get again. It was the principle behind it, that they feel like they can walk all over me, talk to me anyway, and then walk, and now it's going from talking about me anyway and walking all over me to coming and touching my property. And that's where that hurt came from. Guys, not excusing what Mariah have done as well, but you have to understand, when I'm doing a review and I'm talking about one person, I'm focusing on that person, because I always read a comment, oh, you know, for example, last week, oh, you were so easy on Quad and talking about she can't bring a child into a toxic relationship. You were so easy on her. Have you guys seen my other videos? I'm not really here for Quad, but I'm also a human being, and I always say, you know, come for them every time. No, if I see something and I see that they're saying something that's right, I'm going to be on their side. But as far as Mariah and Aiden goes, as you can see, they're cool. They've had their issues in the past. They've worked it out, and they're doing great. She and her husband, there's no issues there. It's the other ladies going through the whole power struggle, and I'm glad that Andy put Heavenly in check. As far as Heavenly and Damon goes, if I get to Quad, because she was last. As far as Heavenly and Damon goes, I mean, Damon, as you can see, he really spilled some tea, as far as he didn't go in as being specific, like, oh, I did this to my wife and whatever. But doing that conversation about the double standards, if his wife cheat and if he cheat, and if his wife cheated on him, he's leaving, but he expects his wife to stay through. During that conversation, he did mention how you know what, he's done some things to his wife and vice versa, but he loved her, and you could see that some things has happened in the relationship. But what relationship haven't had ups and downs? They're just choosing not to share. If Mariah never had that moment with Jackie, we would have never known. Now when we talk about Mariah marriage, we have to include that, you know what, she and Aiden had their issues, but they're good now. Before it was Mariah have a great marriage and Mariah marriage is the best and all of that. She still does have a great marriage, but coming out and saying what she did still kind of, exactly. So Damon said a lot without saying a lot, but as far as he and Heavenly goes, I mean, they are making it work, so kudos to them. Contessa is very quiet. I don't think like she's quiet on purpose. It's just that some of the things these ladies are revealing are so deep and so like shocking because she's not experiencing that. But you never know what she's experiencing in her marriage, right? Everything looks great for now and everything looks perfect, but you never know what it took for them to get to this point of where they are. So I'm not going to be too quick to talk about everything is great. Maybe everything is great on her end, but it was almost like Andy literally had to like, it was like, she's so respectful and put together. Like she was waiting for her turn. She was waiting for him to address her and bring the questions to her before she could speak. It wasn't this, you know what, I'm on a reunion, I want to make sure that I get this check, I make a good impression, so I'm back, next season, I have to say something, I have to speak. She basically, her facial reaction said it all, but for the most part, Andy literally had to say her name or address her for her to speak, which is also a good way, because if all of them were talking at once, it would just be too much going on. And I mean, they try to do that, and you know what I'm saying. So that's that for Contessa. And I talk about everybody else now. Quad and Dr. G. Oh my God. What I keep reminding people of, people keep saying Quad and Dr. G had this great marriage and the man wanted kids and she didn't give him any kids and now he's pissed off and all of this stuff. Are we forgetting? I'm not going to keep bringing up this girl one mugshot that she's ever had in her life. It's not my goal to keep trying to dig up the past. But for the people who are leaving those comments, before these two even got married, both of them got arrested for domestic violence against each other. They had to call off their wedding and send all of their friends text messages to why they were not getting married. Okay, so before they even got married or a topic of having kids were even involved, they've been having issues and fighting each other. You understand what I'm saying? So if Quad is going to go off the whole toxic marriage and I'm not bringing a child into this toxic situation, the ish was toxic from the beginning before they even got married. You know what I'm saying? So, whew, all right. Yeah, so that whole situation is just a hot mess. And then I know where it stopped, but I saw an extended version, and Dr. G basically said he and his friend, took two women back to the hotel. What was revealed in the extended version was the fact that when he got in a room with the girl, he became remorseful. He said, what are you doing? What am I doing? He left. Instead of him kicking her out and telling her you gotta go, he had already paid for the hotel room. He did not. He was being a gentleman. Yeah, and I'm doing a quotation mark because you can see me. A gentleman to the lady he just picked up and was willing to go to the hotel room with a complete stranger. No judgment there, but I mean, yeah, let's just move on. Yeah, he was being a gentleman, so he felt bad and he left. He claimed that even though he took her to the hotel room with every intention to get what he wasn't getting from home from his wife, he felt bad and did not do anything and left. Then the girl took the hotel receipt and to other blog pages, one that they mentioned, and you can hear that during the episode when it airs next week, and that she took the information to that blog and she was about to expose him because she had receipts, an actual receipt with his name on it from their hotel. and that the girl went and basically was trying to extort money from him, like extortion, and said, if you don't pay, I'm going to take this to all of the blogs and expose you. So then Quad said he had the nerve to call her and say to her, so are you going to help me out of this mess or what? Like, it was her problem that he made that mistake. So Quad then said to him, should I call the police, or you telling me to give this girl money? And we're going to find out next week if police was called and whatever that happened. All right, so we're going to find that out. But basically he's saying that nothing happened. He basically wants credit for not physically cheating on his wife, meaning like he didn't insert anything into anybody else. So he wants a pat on the back. You know, he wants a celebration. A celebration for that. You know, so the ladies on the couch were screaming, are you hearing yourself right now? You cheated. You went in with the mindset of cheating on your wife, so you cheated already. He's saying, listen, nothing happened. I left. So no, I'm not a cheater. I was still a good husband. I left. And I'm just like, oh my God, well, bye. So then Quad turned around and said, instead of him taking responsibility and accountability like Dr. Jackie husband Curtis did, and I'm just like, girl, bye. Curtis only did that because he was caught, okay? If that thing never ended up on whatever blog page he was on, he was going to use those same manipulative skills he's been using on Jackie for a long time, and it was going to work. All right. So anyways, yeah, I don't have any more to say about Quad and her man, because it's just going to be this up and down and up and down and up and down, and they need to fix. What really got me was when she said, because you're my husband and you had a goal, and I was trying to make sure my husband accomplished that goal. I was like, oh, Quad, see, now I'm not here for you, girl, but you're going to make me cry. You're going to bring me over to the other side. This is not funny, but actually that really got me. But when he was dropping the prices for the stuff he bought her, it was like that's how he sees her now. Like, this is my trophy, and she can be bought, and because I've bought you, now open your legs and give me some kids. That's graphic, but that's exactly how he sounds. That was disgusting. Like, I bought you, I own you, the car you're driving is paid for, the stuff, the material things, and now that you got what you wanted and I have helped elevate your life to this level, now be a woman, shut up and give me some kids. You see how nasty that sounds? Like, he said, that's all Quad is saying. Quad is saying emotionally, I need my husband, and vice versa. And there's so much resentment there. This is the thing about forgiving a cheater. If you are going to stick around with someone who did that to you, forgiveness is not easy, but you really have to work on that, because that whole resentment thing, yeah, it's going to be a hard one. You know, I am fully aware that Quad is going to say, you know, my husband said he left, he didn't do anything, so I chose to believe him, and he didn't cheat on me. And so that's what she's going to go with, because Quad was one of the people talking about, you know, she's leaving, she's getting a divorce if her man cheated or did that to her. But then people are saying, and her husband wouldn't cheat on her, and she stayed anyways, but has so much to say about Dr. Jackie marriage. And so, but you know, if the man came in and was able to convince Quad that nothing went on in that room, and you know, he left, then hey, you know, so be it. But people were just saying on social media that Quad has so much to say for Jackie when her husband was cheating. But you guys gonna see on the next episode, what I did see an extended viewing of the show, and he clearly said that he left that room and that nothing happened. So what I mean by that is, because I know that when someone does something like that to you, it's not easy to just forgive and move on. I know that I wouldn't tolerate it, and I just said that, oh, it's so easy to say I wouldn't tolerate it, but yeah, I wouldn't. But if you're going to make the choice to forgive, which is not easy, then it's either you make that choice and you work on it, or you make the opposite choice and you leave. Because if you stay in the battle of, rehashing what happened, throwing it in the person's face and all of that, yeah, you guys will never move on. And in as much as it's a process, the trusting process and all of that, you have to rebuild all of that all over again. You just have to make a choice. And so hopefully, Quad and her husband find a moment. Either you resent him and you're upset and about what he did and you leave, or you know what, I resent you, but I want to stay in my marriage, so we're going to find a way to work on this. But if she stay in that space, or he stay in that space for whatever it is that he resents her for, they are never going to come out of this mess. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, and trust me, we've all been watching the Sim show, and Quad is not the easiest either. Oh, yeah, they both have issues, and I hope both of them work on their issues. And yeah, because that whole situation is just terrible. They cannot continue to live that way, because it's just toxic. And I'm sure there's more to the story, and that's why Quad was saying there's so much you guys don't see. I'm sure there's more and deeper situations that has happened that they probably don't have time to talk about. But yeah, hot mess.
All right, my final loves, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I'm wishing you all an amazing day. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.